Hi, welcome to the new awardee orientation webinar. And congratulations to those of you who are newly minted DRK-12 awardees. Today, we're excited to introduce ourselves, talk a bit about our services, and engage in discussion about topics that are of most interest to you, and provide some time for networking. So let's get started with introductions. I'm Catherine McCulloch, the CADRE PI. And I'm here with several members of CADRE. You can see their images on the slides, and I am going to ask them to introduce themselves. So Amy, let's start with you.
Hi, my name is Amy Busey. I'm one of the co-PIs on CADRE, and I'm involved in a variety of activities, including efforts to characterize the DRK-12 portfolio, some need sensing activities around awardee needs and interests for supports, and dissemination and cross-project efforts.
Christopher, I think you're next on the slide.
Oh, great. Hi, everyone. My name is Christopher Harris. I'm from West Ed, based out on the West Coast in Northern California. And I'm a co-principal investigator on the CADRE. And I've just finished up with working with Eric and a few other folks on the classroom-based STEM assessment report that CADRE recently released. And it was a great experience. We got to work with PIs from the portfolio to bring together a report, and we worked on it for about a year. So that's just one example of the work that I do within the CADRE. Okay, Terrell, you may be next.
Good afternoon, or potentially good morning, I guess, depending on where you're coming from. My name is Terrell Morton. I am an assistant professor of identity and justice and STEM education at the University of Illinois, Chicago. And I also serve as one of the co-PIs for CADRE. Within this project, I specifically work with the early career scholars, so our CADRE Fellows program that supports postdocs, graduate students, early career researchers, and learning about K-12 STEM education research and practice. And then I also support the prospective awardees space. So my colleague Lonnie Horn, who is at Vanderbilt, who's not here today, she and I curate materials to support individuals interested in obtaining a DRK-12 research grant, and also help support our community partners space, where we're thinking intentionally about how, as a resource center, CADRE is connecting with various communities across the nation to engage in critical questions and thoughts around K-12 STEM education. And I'm excited to be here to meet you all and to support in this endeavor.
Eric, I think you're next.
Hi, I'm Eric Wiebe. I'm at North Carolina State University. I'm also a co-PI on the CADRE project. As Christopher mentioned, the two of us have just finished a synthesis report around classroom-based assessment, which was really a great opportunity to not only work with other PIs in the DRK-12 portfolio, but individuals who are also national experts in this subject area. So Christopher and I will be continuing to work on another synthesis report, a topic of which we have not identified yet, but with the goal of picking a topic that will be of relevance and interest to the DRK-12 community. I also participate in capacity building activities such as this webinar today, and serve on the leadership team with the rest of the folks who are here on the call today. So look forward to our session here today.
Thanks. And Terrell, as Terrell mentioned, Lonnie's not here, but Lonnie does lead the learning series, which Amy will tell you a bit more about later on. The next person in our lineup of images is Elena Martinez, and she actually was with us during year 2 of the project, and is no longer with us, but was working on some of the core components effort that we completed. and Liana.
Hi, I'm Liana Nordstrom. My main focus on CADRE is in communication. This includes sharing information and resources with the DRK-12 community, and it's also promoting your work, so the work of DRK-12 awardees. If you tag us on Twitter, for example, I'm very happy to share that work and spread the word.
And I'm going to have the honor of introducing Jen, whose image is at the end of this line, who's working really hard in the backdrop of this webinar to keep it all going. But ordinarily, she's really a key component of our early career research work, as well as supporting many of our efforts. So thanks, Jen. So we hope that all of you will introduce yourselves in our chat as a way of starting to get to know each other. And we're going to talk a little bit about our work. So our work is designed around 3 strands listed at the top of this slide. And Amy's going to provide a quick overview of the ways that we address these strands as we seek to serve you and the DRK-12 program and STEM education field at large. And she'll briefly describe some of the resources and opportunities that we have available for you. So, Amy.
Thanks, Catherine. And again, I'm excited to be here with you all today. As Catherine mentioned, we have a few, 3 themes that we're addressing in this iteration of CADRE and a few strategies for addressing each of them. I'm going to briefly describe some of the highlights in each, particularly those that might be most relevant to you. My colleague Liana will be putting links to more information about a lot of this in the chat, but we also welcome your questions in the chat, and there will be time to ask them live in just a little bit if you prefer that route, if there's anything you'd like to know more about. But we'll start with broadening participation and engagement. And for broadening participation, we're trying to make more connections between the DRK-12 program and community and groups less well represented in the DRK-12 community through our Community Partners program, which Terrell mentioned. We also aim to serve prospective awardees by, among other things, maintaining a repository of information about funded DRK-12 research, making connections between prospective and current awardees, and providing resources to support proposal development. We also support annual cohorts of early career scholars through our CADRE Fellowship program. And I just wanted to say a quick word about the Fellows Program. As some of you may know, the application window for this year's cohort has closed, but there are a variety of resources for early career scholars that are available on our website. These are related to navigating career pathways, publication and that process, professional networking, and other topics, some of which were developed from the Fellows Program. So we would encourage you to share these if they're relevant with early career colleagues on your team. Our second broad area of work is capacity building. And to build capacity in STEM ed research, our central strategies in this iteration of CADRE are focusing on supporting learning experiences that leverage the vast expertise in the DRK-12 community through a learning series, communities of practice, which Eric and Christopher mentioned, and topically oriented working groups, and through convenings of the DRK-12 awardee community. The learning series may be of interest to you. For each of the learning series topics, and you can see some prior topics on the screen here, participants have had an opportunity to hear from a panel of experts within the DRK-12 community, followed by further opportunity for consultation on participants' own questions and work related to those topics. Recordings of past learning series webinars and resources that came from them are available on our website, but we also encourage you to keep an eye out for announcements for upcoming series if you'd like to take part in the consultation portion of each series. Our communities of practice work is one example of that work has been mentioned already on this webinar. Our most recent topical working group focused on classroom-based assessment, and we're all really excited to share that they recently released a report summarizing what we know and what we need to know to make classroom-based assessment maximally beneficial in STEM education. If you're interested, we encourage you to read the full report, or there's also an executive summary and a recommendations document that are available. And as they mentioned, we're gearing up to launch our next topical working group, so keep an eye out for that topic and more information coming soon. And we were thrilled to be able to host our first in-person meeting this June since COVID. And we are also thrilled that some of you were able to join us. If you weren't able to attend, we did want to point out that most of the slides and posters are available on our website, along with recordings of the plenary sessions. So we also have capacity building resource collections on our website. So you all have written successful proposals. Congratulations, you are new or recent awardees. So in addition to the proposal development toolkit, we also have some others that you might find helpful as you plan and implement your awards. In particular, the project management toolkit, which includes information on what's required as far as communicating and working with NSF, including guidance around reporting, information on approaches to external review, mentoring supports with for those of you with postdocs or early career researchers on your team, as well as other resources. Our dissemination toolkit contains a wide variety of resources related to everything from general communications and product dissemination planning to information about more specific topics like accessibility, social media and effective use of it, publishing, and other topics. And then finally, our research toolkit includes information on research design and methods, theory and frameworks, instrumentation, human subjects, and data management. So we'd encourage you to poke around in those if you think those might be useful to you. And then finally, our third major strand of work is dissemination, and where we aim to increase the reach and influence of the portfolio as a whole, but also of your projects. We've been gathering information about DRK-12 projects, their studies, their findings, their products, with the intent to share those broadly, as well as support awardees in sharing their own project work. We also try and feed information in the other direction, so that is from the STEM Ed community and other stakeholder communities back to the DRK-12 community. I wanted to call out a few things on this slide. First, in the coming months, you should expect to receive an invitation to provide information about your projects during our annual portfolio survey, which is important. This will support our portfolio analysis. It's important because we'd like to share an accurate characterization of the portfolio, or as accurate as possible, with audiences that include NSF, and because it will inform our programming for the coming year. So keep an eye out for that. We really appreciate your responses to it. Second, if you have ideas for a cross-project webinar or a conference proposal that CADRE could help you organize, please let us know. We've had a few different webinars in the past year or two. We had one earlier this year on data science education, and we've also organized conference proposals for math and science and professional development, professional organizations around a variety of topics. Many of these were field-driven, so awardees came to CADRE with ideas, and we helped them identify collaborators and support the proposal development. So we welcome any of those ideas. We'd be happy to support you. And then finally, our dissemination via our website, our newsletters, and social media may be most accessible and useful to you. We use these avenues both to communicate with you about news and resources that could be relevant to your work, as well as promote information about your work and your progress and your products. Much of this is listed on the most timely basis in our newsletter, so we would really encourage you to subscribe to those and to watch our Twitter feed as well. So on our website, you might start by visiting our resources page. In addition to the toolkits that I mentioned before, which you can see listed across the top, you might find our topical spotlights on DRK-12 projects helpful if you're developing a proposal or you're interested in other projects that might be working in your area of the field. Another specific resource that you might find helpful as you think about dissemination is our listing of upcoming STEM education opportunities, which includes a list of upcoming conferences and their submission deadlines, as well as publication deadlines and calls for papers. And then one other section of our website that I wanted to highlight is the projects and people section. You'll see that you each have a profile for yourself and for your award. We would encourage you to update your project page as your work progresses with media, products, presentations, etc., to help others who might come across your page learn more about the most up-to-date version of your work. You should have each received access to the site and your profiles via email, but please reach out to us if you have questions about updating your information. And finally, as takeaways, we hope that you'll stay connected to our work through these access points, but we also want to hear from you. We want to hear how your work is going, what your recent accomplishments are, so we can help share those and promote your work. And we also want to know how we can better serve you. So what are your interests? What are your needs? What are your ideas that CADRE might help support related to DRK-12?